Yo, welcome back to the channel. In this video today, we're going to be going over a tanking setup that can be used on any class, and it's probably the best setup outside of having trials gear. So, I'm going to showcase it on the DragonKnight today, so let's go ahead and dive into it. My max magicka is 23.8, my maximum health is 39.6, maximum stamina is 27.1, and magic recovery is 1.4. Spell resistance is 25.6 unbuffed, and physical resistance is 22.3 unbuffed. Now, I am a Nord, so I do have that little passive that gives me like an extra 2.3, 2.4k physical and spell resistance. So, do bear that in mind that if you're not a Nord, you may want to switch out the monster set, and I'll go over that soon enough. So, I have 37 points into magicka, 27 into health. The boon I'm running is the Atro, and the food I'm using is basically tri-stat food. It's longfin pasta. Now, the food in itself is probably the best is be with sugar skulls, um, but personally, I feel like it's not. I feel like the magic and stamina might be a little bugged, or maybe it's just me. I don't know. But so far, you can use Crown Fortifying Meal or Longfin Pasta with melon sauce. These, of course, you get from your dailies and just Crown crates. They're just stuff that they give you. Um, a Longfin Pasta is going to be a slightly bit better than the Crown Fortifying Meals. So, and then of course, Be with Sugar Skulls is the best one to use. So just whichever one you want to go with. Now, champion points. Green Tree. Um, I have 50 into Gilded Fingers, 50 into Fortune's Favor, 50 into Steadfast Enchantment, and I believe that's pretty much it for the passives that I'm using. Now for the ones that I have on my bar, Treasure Hunter, Master Gatherer, Plentiful Harvest, because I do tend to run around as I'm questing and I get in these. But one that you do want is Treasure Hunter. It's basically going to increase the quality of items you find in treasure chests. That's always a good one to have on no matter what you're doing. And then liquid efficiency, whenever you use a potion or poison, you have a 10% chance to not consume it. So this definitely cuts down the cost on your tri-stat pots or whatever it is that you're doing. This is really good to have on. Now, um, outside of that, you can do, let me see where it is. Honestly, I might be overlooking it. So yeah, those are probably your best, those are the ones I use. By all means, you can stick with it. You can use Rationer if you want to add a little bit more to your food or drinks, but it doesn't really bother me that much, so I don't bother to use it. I just have the 10 points here, so I can get to here. Now, Blue Tree, I have 20 into Quick Recovery, 20 into Hardy, 20 into Preparation, 20 into Elemental Aegis, 20 into Eldritch Insight, and 20 into Tireless Discipline. And I think the other passive is 20 into Blessed just to increase my healing done. So, of course, this one doesn't really matter that much. Now, for the abilities on my bar, I have Reinforced, Bulwark, Unassassinable, I think that's right, I'm not sure, and Duelist Rebuff. Those are the ones I use. You could also, if you have a lot of, if you're doing something that has a lot of tick damage, you can also replace out one of your abilities for the reduced enduring resolve. So this will reduce your damage taken by overtime attacks, so dots. So just whichever one you like, you can run whatever setup you like. This is just what I rock, and I haven't had any issues with anything yet. So keep in mind, yet, because who knows. Fitness. This is the main. This is where tanking, the tree that really affects tanking the most. The blue tree does quite a bit, but they're all right there. Here, this tree is kind of spread out. The ones I keep on my bar: Balanced Vitality, Ironclad, Rejuvenation, and Bloody Renewal. This is just to give me back some stamina when we kill an enemy. So, now for the passives, we'll start over here. I have 20 into Bashing Brutality. I max there. 30 into Savage Defense. 20 into Tireless Guardian. 30 into Fortification. 16 into Hasty. 20 into Sprinter. This is just to reduce the cost and increase my move speed of sprinting. As a tank, you kind of want to keep up with the DPS and stuff, so it's these two are very nice to do that with. 20 into Hero's Vigor. And then I have 10 points here. This one really doesn't matter, but it's just to get me here. So that way, just in case something does one-shot me, maybe I lag up or something and I get one-shotted, or I'm just not paying attention. Maybe I zone out and I get one shot at. So this right here, when they resurrect me, it gives me back. It's going to allow me to have 10% more resources than what I would have. So then I have 10 here. Reduce duration element of stats effect applied to you by 5% per stage. Tumbling, reduce the cost of roll dodge by 120 per stamina. And then 20 into Defiance here just to reduce the cost of break free. Outside of that, that is it for my passives. If anything, I can go ahead and throw the 5 points here. This would be the next thing I take up. I'm just kind of waiting until... Normally I wait until I have the 10 points there to do it fully, but yeah, I'll just throw it there. So, now sets. I'm using, on my front bar, I'm using the Maelstrom Sword. You can farm these from normal Maelstrom Arena, so at 160, you can go right in there, you can get these. These are very easy to obtain. I'm using a sword and board. You can use mace or whatever. With a weakening enchant, reduces the target's weapon and spell damage by 217 for 5 seconds. Now, the shield is infused with a tri-stack glyph. That's what it came. You can go reinforce, you can go sturdy, or infuse. Those would be the 3 I would use. I wouldn't use anything else. Plus, it came with a tri-stack glyph on it, so I just kind of left it alone. Now, what this does is when you deal damage with a low slash, your next fully charged heavy attack used within 5 seconds restores 1.8k magicka and stamina. This is just going to help us with our resource management and everything else. Now, the perfected version does give you magicka and stam recovery. I think it's like 75 points. So, a little bit better, but not crazy good. So, now, for the first 5-piece set, I'm going with Powerful Assault. With a infused ice staff with a crusher enchant. It reduces the target's physical and spell resistance by 2.2k for 5 seconds. Now, this is a set you get with Telvar, or you can buy it through a guild trader. It can be relatively expensive, but we don't need the full set because we only need it on our back bar to proc it. So I'm using Maelstrom weapons on the front bar. Now, what this is going to do is that it gives us max health, max stamina, weapon damage, which we really don't need the weapon damage, but when you cast an assault ability, you and up to 5 group members within 10 meters gain 296 weapon and spell damage for 10 seconds. Now, if you're not doing trials, and you don't have Yarnikins from the Sunspire trial, this right here is going to give them that weapon and spell damage that Yarnikins will give them. So this right here is just to kind of do that. This is a medium armor set, so we are wearing it on the back bar, and we have jewelry. All robust, all with magic recovery. So that's just kind of how I have this set up. Now, for the monster set, I'm using Stonekeepers. I have a medium infused mask with a tri-stack glyph on it, and a light shoulder sturdy with a tri-stack glyph on it. I do use these for something else in a different setup, so I do have these kind of golded out. Now, what this does is it's going to give us 548 stamina and magicka, and then 603 maximum health. And when we block an attack, you get an energy charge stack. When you gain 6 charges, you release the energy, restoring 2.4k stamina and magicka, and healing for 2.5k. After releasing the charges, you cannot regain new charges for 14 seconds. Charges can be accumulated to once every 0.25 seconds. So this is just going to help us with our resource management, plus a nice little heal. If you feel like you need more resistances, you can go Lord Warden. Let me just pull out here. You can go Lord Warden, which comes from just space. Comes from Imperial City Prison. It gives you armor, and then when you take damage, you have 50% chance to summon a shadow orb for 10 seconds that increases the physical and spell resistance of you and your group members within 8 meters by 3k. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. You can also go with a really simpler one in Bloodspawn, if I can remember where that comes from. Pretty sure it's Spanish. No? Oh, there it is. Spindle Clutch. You can go with Bloodspawn. It's going to give you stam recovery, which isn't a big deal, but when you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate, increase your physical and spell resistance by 3.6k for 5 seconds. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. So, it really just depends on what you want to use. Bloodspawn is probably the easiest one to get, followed by Lord Warden when it comes to defenses. Or if you just want resource management, I think Stonekeeper is the way to go. This comes from Frostvault. So, now, the second 5-piece set that I'm rocking is Drake's Rush. Now I'm using an infused chest with max health, sturdy waist, with max health, sturdy gloves with max health, infused legs with maximum health, and sturdy boots with maximum health. Now, Drake's Rush comes from, I want to say, the Cauldron. No, 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 no. It comes from Black Drake. Comes from Black Drake Villa. So, basically, what this set does, it's one of the new dungeons from the last patch, from Flames of Ambition patch. And what this does, it gives you maximum health, max stamina, and when you bash an enemy, you and up to 3 group members within 15 meters of you gain major heroism for 12 seconds, granting you 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. This effect can occur once every 18 seconds. This is a really solid set for 4-man content. Now, I will say, maybe not so good in Trials, because there's more than 3 members, but for 4-man content, that's you and your entire group. So, this just works out really nice. If you have Yolnikins, I would backbar this with the Maelstrom weapon. You know, you'd have Yolinans active at all times, and then have Drake Rush on the backbar instead of Powerful Assault. That would be the only thing I would switch out if you do Trials. Now, if you don't, just use Drake Rush on the body because it is a heavy armor set. Or if anything, you can always go Ring of Powerful Assault, and then use like maybe sturdy waist and hands for Powerful Assault, and then just have heavy helmet and heavy shoulders instead of 5-1-1 setup that way. You'll basically have a 5-2 setup with medium armor, but you just get that Drake Rush Ice Staff on the back bar, and you'll be absolutely fine. So that would probably be the cheapest way to go, because I do believe the Ice Staffs for the Powerful Assault are like 100k minimum up, even on the shitty traits. So it's just go with whatever suits your budget, I guess. Now, skills on the front bar, Pierced Armor. This is our main taunt. It's going to affect the enemy with Minor Breach and Major Breach on the enemy, reducing their physical and spell resistance by 2.9k and 5.9k for 15 seconds. That's it. Does some damage, but it's more or less it's going to cause them to taunt us we're going to taunt them and cause them to attack us for 15 seconds and then debuff them as well. So this is our main taunt. Then we have Heroic Slash here. Surprise an enemy with a deep lunge, dealing 3.2k physical damage and inflicting them with minor maim, reducing their damage done by 5% for 12 seconds. You gain minor heroism, granting you one ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 12 seconds. Now, this is what procs the Maelstrom weapon, because when we hit it, and then we just hit it, it'll go back up. So let me burn my Magicka a little bit, and we'll Heroic Slash, just kind of get that going down, and then heavy attack, and they shot up. So this is what procs the Maelstrom weapon for us, so that's why we also use this. Plus, it gives us minor heroism, which is just nice in general. So then we have Igneous Shield. Called the Earth to your fence to grant a damage shield for nearby allies that absorb 3.3k damage. Your own damage shield absorbs 8.4k damage. That's a portion of this ability scales off your max health. You also gain major mid, increasing your healing done by 16% for 3 seconds. Now we pair that with Green's Dragon Blood as well. You draw on your Draconic Blood to heal for 33% of your missing health. You also gain major Fortitude, major Endurance, and minor Vitality, increasing your health recovery and stamina recovery by 30%, and healing received by 8% for 23 seconds. So basically, you're going to buff up when you start a fight. So you're going to hit those, and then you're going to go in. So when you need a heal, you hit Shield, Green's Blood, and your health will pretty much shoot back up. You just kind of chain them two together, and you'll be fine. Now, on our front bar, we have Unrelenting Grip. We launch a fiery chain to grasp and pull an enemy to you, dealing 2.9k flame damage. Hitting target grants you major expedition, increase your movement speed by 30% for 4 seconds. If the target cannot be pulled, you restore 100% of this ability's cost as Magicka. Attack cannot be dodged or reflected. As you can see, can't be come back, so it just comes back. It's also nice if you're just trying to add a little extra DPS, you can just sit there and keep spamming these. So, I never run out of resources. Now, Shield Discipline. Reinforce your shield, allowing you to automatically block all attacks at no cost for 8 seconds. Your one-handed shield abilities cost nothing while this effect persists. Now, if you don't want to use this, go Barrier. Now, you can take whatever more if you want. On it, my barrier has been stuck at this rank 3 for a while now. Like during the event, I went to level it up, had potions, or I had scrolls going. I had the 100% XP buff and everything, had the enlightenment, and then at the end of the dungeon, I was on this bar. It went to 3 and just kind of stopped there and have not moved since. So, so I'm just using shield discipline, but you can still use, even if it's glitched like this, barrier is still really nice to have because it's still a 25.8k damage shield for 30 seconds. So, but if you just need a quick little ultimate to get back some health, stamina, and magicka due to your DragonKnight's passive, to where when you pop an ultimate, you when you cast an ultimate ability, you restore 46 health, 46 magicka, and stamina for each point of the ultimate cost. If you just need a quick one, shield discipline works. And then of course, magma armor is a good one too. You can go either one. This one activate nearby allies gain a powerful damage shield. Or you can do this one where it deals poison damage and your direct attacks ignore physical resistance while active. I would go with Magnum Shell if you're looking to tank. It's Magnum Shell is basically the poor man's version of Barrier. Barrier is a lot better, costs 50 ultimate more, but the shield is a lot bigger. So if you don't have Barrier, if you don't have that support level 7 yet, or that support ranked up, Magma Armor is a good shield for you and your group. Now, backbar, Inner Rage, knock the fires of hate enemies hard, dealing 2.4k magic damage and taunting them to attack you for 15 seconds. This is just kind of our ranged taunt. That's all it is. A ranged ally targeting the taunted enemy can activate the Radiant Synergy, dealing 5k magic damage to them over 3 seconds, and additional 5k magic damage to them and other nearby enemies. Blockade of Frost, slam your staff down to create an ice barrier in front of you, dealing 6.4k. Wait, is that not morphed? It is morphed. Okay, yeah. Because sworn that lasted for 14 seconds when it was morphed. I don't know. Anyways, slam your stuff down to create an ice barrier in front of you, dealing 643 frost damage to enemies in the target area every 1 second, and applying frost safeguard for 6 seconds to you and nearby allies that absorb up to 10.4k damage from projectiles. Chilled enemies become frozen or immovable for 4 seconds, or immobilized. This is basically, we're not really using this for the damage or anything. It's basically just there to keep the Crusher enchant on them. So as you can see, as it falls off, it will reproc it. So that's kind of why that's there. It's not to really lock down enemies, because if we want to lock down enemies, we'll just use Talons. So, which Talons is the next ability on a bar, Choking Talons. Call forth Talons from the ground, dealing 3.7k flame damage to enemies near you, and immobilizing them for 4 seconds. Enemies hit are afflicted with minor maim, reducing their damage done by 5% for 10 seconds. Now, this is really good for minor maim as an AoE, but if it's single target, we're going to get minor maim on target from Heroic Slash as well. And they do not stack, just to point that out. An ally near the Talons can activate the Incendiary, dealing 6.6k flame damage to all enemies held within them. So, basically you would pull everybody in, as you taunt, just pull everybody in, and then hit Talons. And it locks everybody in place. Now, backbar, Echoing Vigor, let loose a battle cry, stealing you and your allies with resolve and healing for 7.9k health over 8.7 seconds. Now, again, originally I used Resolve and Vigor, but I switched it to Echoing Vigor to kind of help out with the group as well. And this was on my front bar as well to level up. Like I had Barrier and I had Echoing Vigor right here when I completed the normal dungeon, and it got stuck too. So I don't know. Maybe it was just, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I can't explain. But basically, it's going to heal. You're going to let loose Battle Cry. It's just going to do a nice little heal over time. But this right here is what will proc our Powerful Assault. As you can see it down there on the bottom. Kind of looks like a brain or a squash or something. I don't know. You just use your imagination. Whatever it is there, as you can see, it's counting down. It lasts 9 seconds. And that's just kind of it. So every so often, you just flip your bar, pop it. And there is no cooldown on it, so you can just keep resetting it if you want. So, Hardened Armor, release your Inner Dragon to gain major resolve, increase your physical and spell resistance by 5.9k for 20 seconds. You gain a damage shield that absorbs up to 6k damage for 6 seconds. This portion of the ability scales off your max health. While active, the armor returns 881 magic damage to any enemy that uses a direct damage attack against you in melee range. And then, of course, your main ultimate, Aggressive Warhorn. You sound a Warhorn to rally your forces, increasing you and your group's max magic, max stamina by 10% for 30 seconds. You and your allies gain major force, increasing your critical damage by 20% for 10 seconds. Aggressive Warhorn is always good when you open up. You always open up with this. And then normally the healer should have a Warhorn for that 60 to 50%, and you should have your Warhorn back in time for that 30 to 25% execute range. So you should be good. If not, if the healer is not using theirs, just make sure, or they're using theirs first, just make sure that you're popping yours around 60, 50%, and then again, or at the execute phase, start and end. So now, Drake's Rush. You just bash. That's it. It lasts for 18 seconds. You'll see it down there. There's nothing there. But it comes back up. Now it's off. Oops. There. Should be about the top. Yep. There it is. 12 seconds. You see it going. You'll see this. This is how you know Drake Rush is activated. And you can also see it count down there in the bottom right. So, very easy to keep up with. Now you just have to wait about 4 or 5 seconds. I think it's, if I remember correctly. Let me check this out, make sure, so I can tell you the right time. You wait 6 seconds. So, and then boom, you just hit it again. Your major, you'll get ultimate. Your group gets ultimate, and it's just nice. So, this is probably one of the better setups that you can use, because you're giving your group major heroism, which is going to give them more ultimate, so more DPS from their end. You have sustain here in Stonekeeper, and then of course powerful assault is going to increase their weapon and spell damage. And then you have your Maelstrom weapons here just for more resource management on your end. So this is definitely one of my more favorite tanking setups without Trials gear. So if you use something similar to this, or if you don't like it, let me know. If you want to. So until next time, take care and enjoy.